Chelsea have spent, since Bowley and Egbali came in, Chelsea have spent something in the region of £1 billion. So how have they managed to get around FFP? That's what everybody's asking.
Yeah, well, look, they've used
Is there trouble on the horizon?
tricks of amortization. In my mind, there's certainly trouble on the horizon, and they will certainly fail financial fair play for the current season, unless, it seems to me very unlikely, that by the 30th of June this year, they sell well over £100 million of players.
Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Are Chelsea in trouble as being claimed here? Now, I see a lot of Chelsea fans defending it outright. I see a lot of rivals say, you're done, you're finished, you're gone. What's the truth? What is the truth of the matter? A year ago, people said they were in trouble. That Chelsea believe they comply with FFP. Chelsea believe they comply with the profit and sustainability regulations of the Premier League. And we're going to play some more of this clip in a minute. I'm going to talk about both sides of the story. But there is something here that I think Chelsea fans and football fans need to focus on. And it's the vagueness of the rules, plus no one really quite knows where we stand. The lack of spending in the January window. It's a massive red flag. And when we look at Chelsea's situation, you can see these headlines here. In their last set of trading accounts that came out nearly a year ago, they lost £121 million. Prior to that, the Swiss Ramble put out a report. In the previous years to that, Chelsea had lost a hefty £343 million. So it appears exceedingly unlikely that by the trading accounts for 22-23 financial year, which are normally by Chelsea revealed at the end of March in and around the area, it's unlikely that they're going to have made a profit. It's unlikely that they're going to have lost less than the £105 million bracket for the Premier League's profit and sustainability. But it's all about what they can and cannot write off. It's all about what they have coming in, and they have got money coming in from the Lewis Hall deal. There's a new shirt sponsor, and a number of other areas where Chelsea feel that they're in good stead. But the problem here lies with no one really quite. Everton thought they were good twice, and they're probably going to have points deducted twice, as an example. Nottingham Forest felt that they've done nothing wrong, but they have been charged. When it comes to FFP in Europe, Manchester United, along with a number of clubs in the summer, I think one was also Chelsea, were fined. They thought they were going to be okay. They believed what they were writing certain losses off against would be accepted. They were not. And it appears UEFA and the Premier League combined, and they're not working in tandem, but they're both doing this, are acting with more teeth. They want clubs to be more responsible, and they don't want to see huge losses continuing. And that has got to be where the worry and the concern comes in for Chelsea fans. That doesn't mean you throw your baby out with the bathwater, you panic, oh my God, what's going to happen? But you should be asking questions. I don't believe you should be accepting everything your club just says. We have seen wealthy owners in the past destroy, damage, and nearly put out of business big clubs in England. Huge clubs in England have nearly gone out of business because they have been mismanaged. Smaller clubs have gone out of business. The bigger ones, I think, have been saved by these regulations that are in place. So Chelsea fans have to ask the right questions, because if there are points deductions, if there are fines, how did Chelsea recover from this point? Now, to play some more of this video, let's listen again to what was said and let's digest it in more detail.
But the window that they can now do that, now that the window is about to slam shut,
is closed quietly anyway.
Close quietly this year.
Yes.
It's going to be very small, because the season's going to finish and we've got the Euros. So if you look at someone like Gallagher's going to be in the Euros from the 14th of June. So if they want to ship Gallagher before the 30th of June, they've got to move very, very quickly. And again, the likely buyers are going to know that Chelsea need to sell players. This breach that Chelsea are lined up for is much bigger than Everton's breach. And most importantly, from an aggravating perspective, they will consider it deliberate. It won't be, they can't hide behind having built a stadium or inadvertently breach financial fair play. So if they breach, When it comes to the assessment of the sanction, and remember the way this works.
If they breach or when now
Well,
that
I
they've
think they'll
breached,
breach, but the period, the accounting period is not over yet. I mean, let's be fair to Chelsea. And, I have lots of people telling me, well, you just sell Conor Gallagher for 60 million, you sell Brozier for 40, you sell James for 30, or, whoever it is. People come up with this list of players that they can just sell. But there's no buyers. There's no money in the game at the moment outside of the Premier League. And the Premier League are not stupid. They're not going to bite on these crazy prices for players that they don't rate that highly.
I played this yesterday to a number of Chelsea fans on a video, and I'm sure I'm going to get comments on it now below. I'm not saying everything this man is saying is the gospel truth. I've seen a lot of challenges to this. Lewis Hall's money's coming in. Gallagher will get sold. There's new sponsorships on the way. Chelsea are going to be okay. This is fear-mongering. This is, to a degree, a bit of a false storm. There's nothing much for Chelsea fans to worry about. That is a theory, I suppose you could call it, that I've seen thrown out. I've taken a lot of the screenshots and the super chats and the comments, and I've sent a lot of these off to 2 or 3 of the world's leading football financial experts just to ask them, what's your take on this? Do you agree with the Chelsea fans? Do you think they're going to be okay? And the response I've had back from every single one of them is, there is the potential for that to be true. However, and they've all said the same thing in different ways, but it's nobody quite knows what the Premier League is and is not going to allow people to write off. So there's a thought that certain young players, the costs and the expenditure that go against their name can be written off because of the age bracket they fit into. But the word is the Premier League and UEFA are going to get tougher upon this because they believe that clubs are they believe the owners of clubs are putting their clubs at financial risk, even though they can have these losses written off from a competition point of view so they can still compete and not have points deductions. They're still losing this money as a football club. And if Chelsea and any club like them keep losing money and they don't progress further forward, there comes a tipping point. There comes a time where you're in real major trouble. You can only keep losing money for a certain amount of time. And that amount of money each year cannot continue to grow if you don't have owners that are going to backfill it. It doesn't appear that that's going to happen again like in the Roman era. So the Premier League are becoming tougher because they want to ensure that clubs are not overspending. So listening to the experts doesn't mean they're 100% right. It doesn't mean that Chelsea don't have an ace up their sleeve or a strategy out of this situation. But listening to the experts is key, and not just fluctuating to a journalist or a fan who has the opinion that you want to be true. I don't believe that is a sensible way to behave in this situation. Are Chelsea going to be sanctioned? Potentially. Are they going to breach the profit and sustainability regulations? Every single expert that I've reached out to has said they cannot see a situation where they don't. Therefore, what is the punishment going to be? How does that impact Chelsea going forward? And if Chelsea do find a way out of this, if they do have their plan in place and they have the right amount of income coming in, they're not going to breach. There are going to be no points deductions. Why is that communication between Chelsea Football Club and the media at this point so poor, when actually Chelsea have been so open with the media since Todd Boehly and Clearlake came in? Now, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I hope and pray that Chelsea are not in the trouble that's being suggested, because every single club in this country pretty much has an origin from the same place. The working class local community surrounding them built them. And I don't like the idea of billionaires coming into any of our clubs and potentially running them into the ground. But one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a fan is just to believe all the positive stories and ignore the negative ones. You can't do this. You must ask for answers and questions. I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on this in the comment sections below. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.